So in the studio to discuss the earnings with me is the CEO, Rob Katz. Rob, thanks for the time. Let's talk about that number. You mentioned that without the stronger rand, those earnings would have been higher with at least a gain of 13%. Yes. How much of a difference did it make?
It makes a difference, Godfrey. You know, our businesses are to a degree dependent on the rand. With the rand strengthening significantly, 7% against the dollar, 6% against the pound, our translated earnings were impacted by that. And as you correctly say, you know, if the rand was flat for the 28th March year end, as we disclosed it, our earnings on an operating level would have been 13% higher. So our business is impacted by rand. A weaker rand is better for Peregrine per se, right, because of our foreign translated earnings, and almost all of our businesses are impacted by the rand.
Yeah,
and what the rand does.
Yeah, let's talk about those businesses. And I see one of the star performers certainly was Citadel.
Yes, yes, very pleasing with Citadel, almost 20% up. Citadel had tremendous annuity growth. Revenues exceeded costs, which is good. Our integration activities and our cost controls over the last 2 years are beginning to bear fruit. Mm-hmm. Our inflows are strong. In fact, we had a record number of inflows for the year. So we're very, very pleased and happy with Citadel's results. Great results.
Asset management division?
Asset management division performed okay. I think it has to be mentioned that you know, the largest business in our asset management division is our hedge fund business. We have seen in the last 18 months in South Africa flows out of the hedge fund industry, and we have now begun to experience our share of those flows. So our assets are down. You know, but our average assets for the year were up. Our performance fees were significantly up, and our management fees were up.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that you talk about in the results is you talk about the sale of the structuring and broking business. I was given a question by Charles Mchana. He is institutional client manager at IG. And he asked me to ask you, why are you selling that business? What is the strategy behind selling that business?
Right. So the strategy behind Peregrine, let me take you back to September last year, where we announced at the market, I think I sat in this very studio, and announced to the market that we would be unbundling all our surplus assets to remove volatility off our income statement and leave Peregrine being a low capital, high dividend, high ROE business. The one business that doesn't fit that strategy, the only business, is our securities business. That business actually is a business that needs capital. This last financial year, we've invested significant capital into the business. It's a business that's growing, and because of the growing needs of the business, it needs a high amount of regulatory capital, which we think will only increase, not decrease. So because that business doesn't per se fit Peregrine's overall strategy, we feel that it's better and cleaner to dispose of that business.
Is that a difficult business segment to operate in, though? The securities
it is. Business? It's a very competitive business, without a doubt.
Yeah. We saw Deutsche now pulling out.
Yes, it's a very, very competitive business. Without a doubt, it's a competitive business. But that doesn't frighten us. What frightens us more, or what we'll rather be in, is low capital intensive, high dividend payout businesses.
Right. Now, you also talk about the potential for acquisitions once your focus comes back to growing the annuity revenue streams. What are you looking at, and how big is the kitty, and where are you looking?
So the question is, we will be getting a significant amount of money from the disposal of this business. What we will look to do is one of three things, or all of three things. We will look to redeem a little bit of debt that we've incurred in capitalizing the business. We will look to returning to shareholders a significant amount of that money, and we may well decide at the end to keep a little bit behind for acquisitions. And the acquisitions would be acquisitions that meet our strategy, i.e. financial services, low capital requirements, high cash payouts.
Absolutely. Let's broaden it and talk about the economy. In the studio earlier, before you came in, I had Etienne Leroux, the CEO, the chief economist at RMB, and he brought with him news that business confidence had dropped. And I said to him, I was surprised, because I thought business people were hard-nosed people. They make decisions based on facts on the ground. They were happy in the first quarter. Now in the second quarter, they've swung to the other side of it, and they are now unhappy. Are you amongst the group that's unhappy? And what are you unhappy with, if you are?
I'm amongst the group that overall are happy. I do believe that under the presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa, it's positive for South Africa. We might be seeing a short-term pain in the transition, but I do definitely believe that will be positive for South Africa in the mid to long term, without a doubt.
in terms of policies that perhaps government could pursue to persuade businesses such as yours that are inclined to invest in the economy? What would you like to see more?
Well, Godfrey, at the end of the day, all our businesses are dependent on the man in the street ultimately.
Right.
Unless you're in an exporting
consumer.
business. They're the consumer.
Yeah.
So what we would like to see is easing of government regulations to enable the South African consumer to be able to spend more money, to be able to be wealthier, and to enable foreign investment into South Africa. We would benefit from all of that.
What do you make of his drive to get $100 billion over the next 5 years? Or, as he has put it himself, in rand, he is looking for 1.2 trillion. I think he realized you'll be in trouble if he pegged it to the dollar, because you have seen what has happened in the past week or so. What do you make of that?
I think
drive?
it's brilliant. I think South Africa need direct foreign investment. We definitely need investment to grow the grassroots economy. It's critically important for the ultimate success of South Africa.
Sure.
People need to know that there's an economic future in South Africa, and I think it's very, very good. Very positive. I'm very pleased to hear it.